Good morning, students. Welcome to my video lecture on fabrication and processing of advanced composites ME61011. This is a part of the postgraduate course at IIT Kharagpur. Today we are going to look at manufacturing of CMCs, ceramic matrix composites, and we will be studying reinforcing fibers and interfaces. I am Nilanjan Das Chakladar, Assistant Professor, Mechanical Engineering Department at IIT Kharagpur. So the talk layout contains reinforcing fibers and CMCs along with interfaces. So coming to reinforcing fibers for CMCs, different forms of reinforcing phase may be used in ceramic matrix composites. So by now we know what is particle, whiskers, platelets, continuous or chopped fibers. So what are the typical fiber materials for ceramic matrix composites? Silicon carbide, carbon, alumina, silica. So as you can see, there are ceramics. The strength and modulus of elasticity, flexibility, creep resistance, chemical stability, oxidation resistance. So these are the important parameters which decide whether we can opt for ceramic as a fiber material. So about silicon carbide fibers, organosilicon. I repeat, organosilicon is the precursor which is used to fabricate silicon carbide fibers. Silicon carbide is formed during the precursor curing, that means cross-linking. So we already know what is cross-linking, followed by heating in a inert atmosphere or heating in the nitrogen atmosphere to a temperature of about 1200 degrees Celsius. Most popular trademarks are high Nickelon, Nickelon S, then Silramic and Tyrano. Now coming to carbon fibers. Carbon fibers are fabricated from organic precursor filaments. This also we have studied in manufacturing of carbon fibers. If you want, you can go back to the previous video lectures. At the first stage, they are carbonized in an inert atmosphere, the nitrogen at 1200 degrees Celsius, and then graphitized at 2500 degrees Celsius. Popular trademarks: BP, Amoco, Konoko, Graphil, Granock, Toho, Toray, Zoltec, Cytec. Among these, again the most popular ones are Toray and Cytec. Now for alumina fibers, the organic alumina precursor transforms into alumina after heating to 800 degrees Celsius. Mullite fibers are fabricated from a mixture of alumina precursor with an organosilicon. Main disadvantages of alumina fibers: low creep resistance caused by grain growth at high temperature and relatively high density. See, it's a relatively high density. Now coming to properties, so silicon carbide versus carbon fibers versus alumina fibers. So we are going to compare the modulus of elasticity, tensile strength, density, thermal stability and filament diameter. So filament diameter is roughly similar, in a similar range for all of them. Density, the lowest density belongs to carbon fiber, then silicon carbide and finally aluminum. Tensile strength, obviously the carbon has the highest tensile strength with 6.9 gigapascal. Alumina fibers and silicon carbide, they are roughly similar, 3.4, 3.3 gigapascals. And for modulus of elasticity, the extreme high variety of carbon fibers may go up to 920 gigapascals or close to 1 terapascals, whereas alumina and silicon carbide are between 420 and 373 gigapascal modulus of elasticity. Thermal stability, silicon carbide is thermally stable up to 1450 degrees Celsius, whereas carbon and alumina, they are highly chemically inert. So coming to interphases of CMCs. Now once again, the word is interphase. It is not interphase. And we have already seen what is the difference. It is not interphase. Interphases of CMCs. Interaction between the matrix and the reinforcing fibers provides higher toughness of a ceramic composite as compared to the matrix material in the monolithic state. In the most infiltration processes of fabrication of ceramic composites. Please note, we will come in detail discussion of the infiltration process, but here we are giving a brief overview how the interface is fabricated, interface is formed. Strong bonds between matrix and fibers formed due to chemical interaction between the materials or due to their diffusion, solid diffusion. Additional interface layers, for example a film of silicon carbide of the thickness in the order of microns, provide protection of fibers from environmental oxidation or aggressive action of the infiltrated material, that is the liquid silicon. So there is a process called liquid silicon infiltration where this is specially taken care of. The interfaces, again, interface protects composite from crack deflection. What we see on the left, there is no interface, so the crack straight passes in the transverse direction. So the straight lines, this is the fiber, and in between you have the matrix, and it's a complete brittle fracture. Whereas to have a non-brittle fracture, we need to have an interface between the fiber and the matrix. So what happens after the matrix fractures in the transverse direction, then it slides. So in order to provide weak bonding, the interface material should have a low shear strength. That means it has to fail in shear. The materials with low shear strength have a layered crystalline structure composed of weak bonded layers, allowing easy slippage between them, similar to graphite. So that means before the crack propagates, there has to be an easy slippage, like pyrolytic carbon and hexagonal boron nitride. What do we see here? So on the left it is pyrolytic carbon, that is the graphene planes, which is separated by a weak van der Waals force. On the right hand side, it's similarly hexagonal boron nitride. It's also a similar structure where the weak covalent bonds, weak forces are there between the transverse planes. So the transverse planes can slide relative to each other. So this is how they can slide. An interface film of 0.1 to 1 micron thickness is deposited prior to the infiltration of the matrix. Thicker interface provides weaker matrix and fiber bonding. The method of CVI is commonly used for deposition of interfaces. CVI, what is CVI? Chemical vapor infiltration. The interfaces of pyrolytic carbon withstand high temperature in non-oxidizing environments. However, in air they oxidize and their maximum operating temperature is 500 degrees Celsius. High purity hexagonal boron nitride may survive in dry oxidizing atmosphere up to 1200 degrees Celsius. Okay. Thank you for watching my video. Hope you liked it.